Yo, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? This is your Coach Renz. Now, one day, I'm going to do this experiment. It's an experiment that Zig Ziglar talked about so many decades ago. One day, I'm going to call one of you guys up, and I'm going to say, hey, today is Thursday. Tomorrow, I have arranged for you to go to the airport, get on a plane, fly first class. We're going to fly to this resort. And at this resort, you're going to be treated like a king or a queen. You can bring another person with you. And all expenses are going to be paid, and that you're going to live the life of luxury for 5 days. 5 days, you're going to live the life of luxury, live the life of a king, live the life of a queen for 5 days. But you have to be at the airport tomorrow at 10 a.m. in order for you to be able to go and live these 5 days in luxury. 5 days of being waited on hand and foot. 5 days of being able to do whatever it is you want to do. You want to jet ski. You want to parasail. You want to take a helicopter tour, take a helicopter tour. You want to eat in the finest restaurants, eat in the finest restaurants. You want room service, get your room service. You want to get the massage, you want to get massaged, get the massage, get all kind of crazy massage, get everything you want to do. You want a mud bath, you want to do all these seaweed treatments. You can do whatever you want to do, whatever they have to offer, you can do it. You just got to be at the airport the next day at 10 a.m. to catch that first class flight. Now I want to ask you guys a question. If I called you today is Thursday, if I called you today and I said, this is what I have for you, this is the opportunity I have for you, would you be able to be there tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.? Would you be able to accomplish everything you need to accomplish today to get yourself there tomorrow at 10 a.m.? Now, if your answer is yes, then what you're showing me is that you, at that moment, became committed to that end result. You became committed to getting there at 10 a.m. You became committed to having that life of luxury, to having all that wait staff taking care of you, to having all that adventure, to having all that that pampering. You show that you're committed to living like a king. You're committed to living like a queen. And you will move heaven and earth in order to get there. Through hell and high water, you will get there. You just show that you're committed because you see the end result. Now, the problem that you have in life, the reason why we're not doing that on a daily basis is because we don't see the end result. You see, there was a study done with Harvard graduates. And they took those Harvard graduates and they told them about goal setting, and they told them that if you write down these goals, that you'll be more likely successful in them. Now, out of the entire class, only 3% wrote down their goals. And out of that 3%, when they came back 20 years later, that 3% who wrote down those goals accomplished 97% of everything that they ever wanted to accomplish. The difference was they wrote down their goals, they committed their goals to memory, they read those goals every day. The ones who just thought about their goals at one time, thought about that goal during that graduation session, they ended up having regular lives. And let me tell you what a regular life is. A regular life is you go to school, you're told that you can accomplish anything, you're told that you can have anything, you have hopes and dreams for the things that you want to do and things you want to be and how you want to live your life. Then what happens is that you either go to college or you start working, or you go to the military, or you go to a trade school, and you get involved with a job. And then you start working that job and living that job. And up until you're about 30, you're just kind of having fun and figuring things out. But then after you turn 30, by that time frame, you pretty much have got into a groove of life, and you may have kids, you may have a wife, you may have a husband, you may have a career, you may have a whole bunch of student loan debt, you may have a whole bunch of debt, period. But now you're 30 and you're starting to look at life a little bit differently, and you're starting to save money, you're starting to live a little bit stringent, a little bit on living a little bit on less, or you're overextended fighting bills. And then you keep on working to retirement so that you can then do what? So that you can live on a little bit. And then you say that you're happy because you have family, you have friends, you have grandkids and whatnot, and then you die. That's most of people's lives right there. And in between all of that, you have a little bit of adventure here, you have a little bit of adventure there. But all those hopes and dreams that you had when you were a kid, when you were in high school, when you was graduating, you haven't achieved but about 10% of them. Why? Most of it is because you never became committed to a goal. You never became committed to what you want to achieve in your life. You know, one time I was in South Carolina. I was about 14, 15 years old, and I was hanging out with a family friend, and we're in South Carolina, and we're trying to get directions to this friend's house, this person's house. And the guy at the side of the road, he said, what I want you to do, you're gonna go down about 2 C's. Then as you go down about 2 C's, then you're gonna see a red mailbox, and you're gonna make a right at that mailbox, and you'll be at your destination. At 14, I didn't understand it, but the guy in the car did. So we're driving, and then we keep driving, and then we see the red mailbox, boom, and we turn, and we're at our destination. Now, what the other guy understood that I didn't, he understood what 2 C's were. I didn't know what a C was. A C was, you drive as far as you can see from here. When you get there, you drive as far as you can see from there, and then you'll see the red mailbox. You'll see your destination. That's how your goals have to be. Your goals need to be a C. How far can you see? However far you can see, commit yourself to that distance. If I can see to the end of this road, then I need to go to the end of that road. And guess what happens when I get to the end of that road? I have another seat. I have an additional seat. And then when I go down to the end of that one, I have another seat. If I keep going as far as I can see, then 2 things happen. 1, I get closer and closer to my destination, but 2, my ability to see further increases. That's the difference between our physical sea and our mental seas. See, in our mental sea of goal setting, then we can go further and further the more we are able to achieve. And that's what's missing from a lot of your lives, is that you have to go as far as you can see and then commit yourself to it, and then you can go even further. So let's say your goal is that you can see yourself at 120 pounds or 140 pounds, or for myself at 225 pounds. I can see myself at 225 pounds. I can see myself at right around 7-10% body fat. I can see myself in that structure, in that body frame. Once I get there, if I'm pleased with what I see, then I can go even further. But here's the thing, it's getting there. I have to then become committed to getting there. That means my daily routine has to be committed to getting there. You have to create a daily routine that gets you there. It is not the giant steps that get you to your destination. You see, when we had to drive a C, we had to pass every point, every moment of that first C. And we were committed to getting there, and we drove and passed every moment of the first C. You have to go and be committed to every moment of your goal. If your goal is to become a millionaire, well, before you become a millionaire, you have to become a thousandaire. Before you become, after a thousandaire, you have to become a 10,000aire, and then you have to become a 100,000aire, and then a 500,000aire, and then a millionaire. You have to go to each stage, each point. You have to see each point and be willing and committed to traveling to each point. If you're only making, let's say, $30,000 this year, then you have to say, if I want to become a millionaire, what do I have to commit myself to every day? Well, the first thing I need to figure out is, how can I increase my income? How can I make myself more marketable? Or how can I create a product? How can I create a service? How can I do something that's going to increase my income? And now I'm going to increase my income by doing that. Now, there's another way you can increase your income without you having to go get a product, without you having to create a service, is to manage your budget first. Manage your budget first. Many of you are thinking, like, right now, how do you increase your income? By managing your budget. Because right now you may be spending an extra $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a month that you don't have to spend. That $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a month can be your seed to your next step. Your next step will have to be either making yourself more marketable in the marketplace, creating a service, creating a product, and being able to convince people that it has value. So your stages, your steps may be hiring a coach. Your steps may be going through a seminar program. Your steps may be going and getting educated so that you can then determine what kind of business you want to be in. I was talking to a young man last night. We were discussing his future goal. What do you want to achieve? Now, he was calling me because he wanted me to coach him. And that's cool, that's fine. I don't mind coaching him. But the first question that I ask, and see, many coaches, the first thing they'll ask is, they'll start asking them about themselves. That's not what I ask. I ask, what's your goal? What's your end result? What is the end result that you want to have for your family? What's the end result you want to have for your finances? What's the end result you want to have for your health? You see, I don't care about what you're doing right now at that moment. What I care about is what your end results are. I need to know how far you can see. Because when I know how far you can see, then we can backtrack, reverse engineer it, and so then we can take the steps to get you to that seat. That's what we have to do. Now, once I know what your end result, now I need to know about the person. Now I need to know about the person. Because by knowing about the person, now we can move forward and take the steps to get you to that seat. And when we get to that seat, we'll go to the next seat. And that's how that works. That's how life works. You have to become committed. The problem is most people aren't committed to it. Many people will listen to this video and you'll get excited. You'll say things like, yeah, I want to make money. Yeah, I want to get in shape. Yeah, I want to have a great relationship. Yeah, I want to go live in this place. I want to have that lifestyle. Yeah, I want to be adventurous. I want to do all these things. I want to have a great family. I want to have great kids. You'll say all these things. But then when I say that in order for you to get in great health, you have to count your calories. You have to become disciplined. In order for you to make money, you have to become disciplined. You have to manage your finances. You have to take risk. In order for you to have a great relationship, you have to possibly leave the person that you're with. You have to possibly sit down and discuss things with the person you're with. You have to possibly change the way you live with that person. You have to possibly change the way you talk to that person. You have to possibly change a whole bunch of things about yourself, and that person has to change a lot of things about themselves. Are you willing to do it? Are you committed to it? Are you committed to doing what's necessary? And see, I can tell what you're committed to. I can look at anybody's life right now and tell you what you're committed to. And it's quite easy. You can do the same thing. Look around. See how their life is going. If you're out of shape, if you're overweight, but you're always saying that you are getting in shape, you want to get in shape, but you're overweight and you're out of shape, you're breathing heavy, breathing hard, you're still eating fast foods and you're still not exercising, I can tell you right now, you're not committed to getting in shape. It's not your commitment. If you're in a relationship, one person's happy, the other person's sad, you kind of just blah. Everybody in the house is always arguing. If there's always an issue, if you're not being sweet and loving to one another to the point where that's what makes each one of you happy, then you're not committed. You're in a relationship. Y'all may not be seeing other people. You may call it a committed relationship, but you're not committed to the relationship. There's a difference. There's a huge difference between being committed to the relationship and being in a committed relationship. A committed relationship is just, I commit to just being with you. Being in a committed relationship is saying that I am committed to making this relationship as grand, as glorious as I can possibly make it. That's the difference. That's the difference between commitment, being in a committed relationship, and just being committed to a relationship. It's just a mind state. Now I say, which one do you want to have? I prefer to have both. I prefer to have both. But if I had to choose, I'd rather be committed to the relationship than being in a committed relationship. I'd rather be in a situation where I'm giving my all to a relationship. Now, I want you to think about that. That's a relationship. Commit yourself to yourself. One of the things I'm writing in my book, How to Escape Mental Welfare is my first book. In my book, For How to Find Your Divine Soulmate, is that you first have to say, I do to myself. Your first relationship is to yourself. I know many people are going to say, my first relationship is to God. You can't have a relationship with God without first having a relationship to yourself and with yourself. You got to say I do to yourself and love yourself enough first before anything can love you, before you can love anything else. So you got to first get committed to yourself. And if getting committed to yourself means that you have to increase your finances, you have to change your health, change the way you eat, change the way you exercise, change the way you move. If that means you got to get up early in the morning. If you're committing yourself to meditating, but you can't get up in the morning, then you're not committed to meditating. If you are committing to meditating, there's two birds fighting over there. If you're committed to meditating, them birds are committed. One bird is committed to keeping the other bird away from his nest. When they fighting, and they making sure, and they fighting in the bushes and the woods, they going through it. That's commitment. Nature shows you the way. I could not have planned that. I could not have planned that. That just happened. Nature shows the way. That bird is committed to protecting its nest. It's springtime. So that bird is committed. Nature is committed. to produce what it produces in abundance. Are you committed to that production? Are you committed to it? I know that just changed my whole process, because you know what I am committed to? I'm committed to understanding the way the universe works. And when I see the universe gives me an example, I'm committed to showing and demonstrating and acknowledging that example. And I will take that, put that inside here, and I will continue to understand that and meditate on that. And if you're committed to meditating, then why aren't you doing it? No, you're too busy watching TV, watching Power, watching Empire, watching The Voice, watching all these different television shows, watching The Walking Dead. You're too committed to that dang Facebook, playing games on your phone. You're too committed to that to meditate. You're too committed to that to have a great relationship. You're too committed to that to having finances work in your favor. You're too committed to that than getting in shape. When you want it, you get committed to it. And when I look at your life, I can tell what you're already committed to. So the question is, are you ready to change it? Simply, write it down. Write it down. Every day, read it. Every day, speak it. Every day, say, what steps am I going to take to get there? Because if I called you today and said, hey, tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the airport, first class ticket, we out of here. If I called you and told you that today, you would be committed to it. You would do whatever you got to do. You would write down everything you got to take care of today. I gotta arrange the kids' babysitting. I gotta call off from work and get some vacation time in. I gotta go in and finish this report though today. I gotta make sure that these bills are taken care of before I leave. I gotta make sure that I got the right kind of clothing. I gotta go and I gotta handle this, I gotta handle that. You write down everything that you gotta accomplish today, and then you make sure that that gets done. Come hell or high water, you won't go to sleep before it gets done. You won't eat before it gets done. You will make sure that that gets done before you even lay your head down, because you'll say, I can sleep on the plane. If you gotta stay up all night to make sure that everything gets done, you will stay up all night because you're committed to it. I had a friend, this is the last thing I'm gonna tell you, I have a friend. She was designing hats, right? And we was going on a mission trip down to New Orleans after Katrina, right? To tear down some houses and rebuild some houses. So we getting ready to go on this mission trip. We going on a mission trip. We was leaving on Saturday. We were leaving on Friday, actually. We were leaving on Friday. But on Thursday, she had to take a certain number of her hats to a boutique to see if they can get sold in that boutique. On Wednesday, she didn't have enough hats done. As a good friend, I sat there and worked on my stuff. She worked on her stuff. I fell asleep. She worked all night to make sure she got it done. And on Thursday, she showed up. She showed them all the hats. She showed them all the inventory. They liked it, but then they asked for some more inventory. So guess what she did? She stayed up all night Thursday making those hats and delivered them on Friday morning before we got on that bus. And she slept on the bus all the way to New Orleans. She got her rest then. She stayed up for 2 days to get it done because she was committed to it. What are you committed to? What are you committed to? That's the real question. That's the real question. The real question, what are you committed to? What are you committed to? How far can you see? And are you committed to that see? If you're committed to that see, then let's get it done. Let's get it done. And if I can help you in any way, just contact me. This is Coach Renz. And y'all look for me at CoachRenz.com. Y'all have a great day and continue to support me on Patreon. Oh, and before I forget, don't forget to subscribe, and subscribe.